Imagine becoming the kind of person who stays calm in chaos, who keeps moving forward no matter what life throws at them. Someone who doesn't break when things get hard, but gets stronger. Someone who doesn't complain, doesn't panic, just handles it. That kind of strength isn't magic. It's built, one mindset shift at a time. But let's be honest. How often do you let small problems ruin your day? How often do you react instead of respond, worry instead of act, get frustrated instead of focused? Most people go through life like leaves in the wind, blown around by emotions, by what others say, by things they can't control. But you're not here to be like most people. You're here to become stronger than them, not out of ego, but out of principle. Today, you're going to discover 50 Stoic lessons that will make you mentally stronger than 99% of people. These aren't just old quotes from dead philosophers. They are tools, powerful, timeless tools, to help you take back control of your mind and your life. So get ready, because after this video, the way you see the world and yourself will never be the same again. Before we begin, I want you to make a commitment to yourself. Write in the comments, "I choose strength." This isn't just a phrase, it's a decision, a signal to your mind that from this moment forward, you're not here to be average, you're here to rise, you're here to lead. So write it down now, and let's begin. Number 1, don't outsource your peace. Your peace is yours. Don't hand it over to other people. Don't let someone's words, opinions, or behavior decide how you feel inside. That's not strength. That's slavery. You weren't born to be ruled by noise, by moods, or by other people's storms. You were born to lead yourself. Every time you say, "They made me angry," or "That ruined my day," you're giving away power that was never theirs to take. No one controls your mind unless you allow it. No event has the power to disturb you unless you let it in. Think about this. Would you leave the front door of your house open for anyone to walk in and make a mess? Then why do you do it with your mind? Why do you let every comment, every piece of bad news, every careless action from others walk in and destroy your inner calm? The Stoics knew this well. Epictetus said, "It's not things that upset us, but our judgment about things." That means your peace doesn't depend on what happens. It depends on how you choose to see it. And that's the key word, choose. You can choose to respond instead of react. You can choose to stay centered when others are losing their heads. You can choose to say, "This does not control me." Even if the world outside is loud, you can stay quiet inside. But this takes practice. Start small. The next time someone cuts you off in traffic, don't let it shake you. The next time someone speaks with disrespect, don't let their weakness pull you down. The next time plans change or things go wrong, remind yourself, "I am still in control of how I respond." Make your peace your responsibility, not the world's, not your partner's, not the internet's, yours. Because the truth is, the moment you stop outsourcing your peace, you start building unshakable strength. Absolutely. Here's a refined and expanded 500-word version of number 2. Refuse to be ruled by impressions, written in the same style and tone throughout, with simple, direct language. Number 2, refuse to be ruled by impressions. Every day your mind is flooded with thoughts, reactions, opinions, and assumptions. They come fast. They come without warning. You see something, you hear something, you feel something, and before you know it, your mind has already decided what it all means. That's the danger of impressions. The first thoughts that enter your mind without being questioned. They feel real. They feel true. But most of the time, they're not. Most of the time, they are emotional, not logical. They are fast, not thoughtful. And if you don't stop to examine them, they will control you. Someone ignores your message. You assume they're mad at you. A friend gets good news. You feel jealous instead of happy. You mess up once, and you tell yourself you're a failure. These are all impressions. They are quick, they are loud, and they lie. The Stoics warned us, never trust the first reaction. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, wrote, "Don't let your mind be hijacked by the first impression." Why? Because the first thought is often a trap. It is filled with emotion. It pushes you to act without thinking, and it almost always takes you away from peace. But here's the good news. You are not your first thought. You are the one who sees it. You are the one who decides what to do with it. This is your power, to pause. When a thought comes, pause. When an emotion rises, pause. When something feels urgent, pause. That pause is everything. It's the space where self-control lives. It's the space where wisdom begins. Ask yourself, is this thought true? Do I have proof? Is this helping me or hurting me? Am I seeing clearly or through emotion? Don't just follow the impression, challenge it. That's what makes you strong. Most people live on autopilot. They believe every thought that enters their mind. They react to every feeling. They follow every story their brain tells them, without stopping to ask if any of it is real. But not you. You're learning to lead your mind, not be led by it. You're learning to question first thoughts, not obey them. And yes, it takes practice. It takes discipline. It takes awareness. But each time you pause and look deeper, you're training your mind to be calmer, clearer, stronger. Remember this, impressions are like shadows. They look like something solid, but if you walk up to them, you'll see there's nothing there. Don't fight shadows. Don't chase them. Just turn on the light of reason. You are not here to be ruled by every thought. You are here to rule over your mind with clarity and strength. So next time your emotions rise or your thoughts race, don't follow. Don't react. Pause, breathe, think. Refuse to be ruled by impressions. That's how you stay free. That's how you stay strong. Number 3, train against indignation. Indignation is the feeling that something is unfair, that someone wronged you, that you deserve better. And while it might feel justified in the moment, it's one of the fastest ways to lose your peace and your power. Think about it. Someone cuts in line. Someone speaks to you with disrespect. Someone makes a decision that affects you, and they didn't even ask for your input. Your chest tightens. Your jaw clenches. Your mind goes, how dare they? That's indignation, anger mixed with pride. And if you let it control you, it turns small things into big problems. The Stoics knew this feeling well. That's why they trained against it. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, you will meet people who are rude, selfish, greedy, and arrogant, but they are just being who they are. He didn't say to like it. He said to expect it, to not be surprised by it, to not be ruled by it. When you react with indignation, you are giving your power away. You're letting someone else's behavior decide how you feel. You're turning into the very thing that upsets you. Harsh words, raised voices, tight fists. None of that is strength. That's just losing control. But imagine this instead. Someone disrespects you and you stay calm. Someone tries to provoke you and you don't bite. Someone acts unfairly, and you still choose dignity. That's real power. That's the kind of strength that can't be shaken. And no, it's not weakness to stay calm. It's wisdom. Anyone can explode, anyone can shout and complain, but to hold your ground with composure, to look at a situation clearly and respond instead of react, that takes training. So, start now. The next time something bothers you, don't act immediately. Pause. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Will anger make this better or worse? Am I reacting out of ego or out of principle? Most of the time you'll see, it's not worth it. Training against indignation doesn't mean becoming passive. It means becoming wise. It means choosing your battles, protecting your energy, and leading with self-control, not emotion. Remember, your strength is not shown by how loudly you shout, but by how quietly you stand. Don't let anger make you small. Train against indignation. Choose calm. Choose strength. Choose clarity. Number 4, be indifferent to your reputation's accuracy. People will talk. They always do. Some will praise you. Some will judge you. Some will misunderstand you completely. You can live the most honest, disciplined, well-intentioned life and still be seen the wrong way. That's reality. But here's the Stoic truth. Your peace must not depend on their opinion. We all want to be seen clearly, to be understood, to be respected. That's normal. But the moment you start obsessing over your reputation, over how accurate it is, over what others think of you, you hand over your inner peace. And for what? Approval? Validation? Applause that lasts for 5 seconds? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Ambition means tying your well-being to what other people say. Sanity means tying it to your own actions." In other words, your focus should be on what you do, not what they think. Reputation is outside your control. Effort, discipline, virtue, those are yours. Let's be clear. It's not about ignoring feedback or being arrogant. It's about not being enslaved by other people's opinions, even when those opinions are unfair, even when they're wrong. Ask yourself, if someone lies about you, are you less honest? If someone doubts you, are you less capable? If someone doesn't see your value, did your value vanish? No. Truth does not depend on who sees it. It stands on its own. That's why the Stoics trained themselves to be indifferent to reputation, not because it doesn't hurt, but because they understood that reputation is external. And a Stoic guards their peace by focusing only on what is internal, their values, their decisions, their principles. So don't waste energy trying to control every story people tell about you. Let them say what they want. Let them assume what they will. As long as you know who you are, what you stand for, and how you act, you are free. Remember, lions don't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. You were not born to chase approval. You were born to live with honor. Be indifferent to your reputation's accuracy. Live well. Walk straight. Let your actions speak. Number 5. Practice pre-shaming. Most people only feel shame after they've done something wrong, after the damage is done, after they've said the thing they shouldn't have said, acted out of anger, broken a promise, or betrayed their own values. Then the guilt comes, then the regret. But what if you could feel that shame before the mistake? What if you could imagine the disappointment, the consequences, the cost, before you act? That's what the Stoics trained for. It's called pre-shaming, and it's one of the most powerful tools for self-control. Before you speak, pause and ask, will I be proud of this tomorrow? Before you act, ask, if someone I respect saw me right now, would I still go through with this? Before you give in to weakness, ask, how will I feel about this decision once the moment has passed? This isn't about being hard on yourself. It's about staying true to yourself. It's about protecting your character before it gets damaged, not after. The truth is, every choice you make is a reflection of who you are. And the moments that test you, the moments when you're tired, emotional, tempted, those are the ones that shape your future. Those are the ones where pre-shaming becomes your shield. Seneca said, "Shame may restrain what law does not prohibit." Meaning, your conscience, your sense of right and wrong, can be more powerful than any rule, but only if you train it, only if you think ahead. So start imagining the consequences. Picture the feeling of regret. Picture the version of you who looks back and says, "I shouldn't have done that." Now use that image before you act, not after. This is how strong people live. They don't wait for pain to teach them. They think ahead. They hold themselves accountable. They act with discipline, not impulse. Next time you're tempted, next time the easy path looks attractive, pause and feel that future shame now. Let it guide you. Let it remind you you're better than a moment of weakness. Practice pre-shaming. Stay ahead of regret. Protect your future with the strength of your present. Number 6. Silence is the gym of control. Control is not built when you speak. It's built when you don't. When your mouth wants to fire back, when your ego wants to prove a point, when your emotions are begging to be released, that's when silence becomes your training ground. That's where you build strength that most people never even try to develop. We live in a world where everyone wants to speak first, shout the loudest, post the fastest, but true power, it belongs to the one who can hold their tongue, the one who doesn't need to explain, defend, or react, the one who can sit in discomfort and not flinch. Think about the last time you said something you later regretted. Did it come from calm? No. It came from impulse. It came from the urge to be right, to be seen, to be heard. But you already know this. Words said in heat burn bridges, and they burn you too. The Stoics practiced silence, not because they were weak, but because they understood its power. Epictetus said, "Be silent for the most part, or speak only what is necessary." Why? Because every moment you hold back is a rep for your mind, a rep for your emotions, a rep for control. When you resist the urge to speak, you're not suppressing, you're strengthening. You're learning to observe instead of react. You're creating space between stimulus and response. And in that space, you grow. Try it today. When someone annoys you, stay silent. When someone disrespects you, observe, don't react. When you feel triggered, breathe, don't explain. Every time you choose silence over reaction, you're lifting a heavier weight than most people can carry. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It means discipline. It means you don't need to prove anything. You're anchored. You're steady. You're in charge of yourself. Because if you can master silence, you can master your emotions. And if you can master your emotions, there's nothing outside you that can truly control you. So train there, in the silence. That's where self-mastery begins. Silence is the gym of control, and every rep makes you stronger. Number 7, study your own hypocrisy. It's easy to point fingers, easy to judge others, easy to say, "They shouldn't do that," or "I would never act like that." But here's the truth most people avoid. You're guilty of the same things you criticize in others, just in different ways, or when no one's watching. The Stoics believed in deep self-examination, not to punish themselves, but to stay honest. Because the moment you stop being honest with yourself, you start living a lie. And that lie grows, quietly, slowly, until you become blind to your own flaws. That's why you must study your own hypocrisy. When you get angry at someone for being late, ask yourself, have I ever wasted someone else's time? When you call someone lazy, ask, have I never procrastinated? When you gossip, then complain about being judged, stop and look. This is not weakness. This is courage. It takes strength to turn the mirror on yourself. Seneca wrote, "Let us look at our own faults and not just at the faults of others." Why? Because self-awareness leads to growth, and growth leads to peace. But here's the catch. Most people would rather defend their flaws than fix them. They'd rather pretend to be consistent than admit when they're not. That's ego, that's pride, and that's what keeps people stuck. You can't fix what you won't face. You can't grow if you pretend you're already perfect. So start keeping score, not of others, but of yourself. At the end of the day, ask, what did I criticize today that I also did? Did I expect something from others that I didn't live up to myself? Am I who I say I am, or just pretending? These questions will sting, but they'll also set you free, because when you start studying your own hypocrisy, something shifts. You become more humble, more patient, less judgmental. You stop wasting time criticizing others and start using that energy to improve yourself. And that's what Stoicism is really about, not just appearing virtuous, but being virtuous, quietly, consistently, even when no one's looking. Study your own hypocrisy. Don't fear what you find. Use it to sharpen your character. That's how you stop being part of the problem and start becoming the example. Number 8. Master strategic detachment. You don't have to react to everything. You don't have to carry every problem. You don't have to fix what's not yours to fix. This is where strategic detachment comes in. Not coldness, not apathy, but strength. The strength to take a step back and see clearly. There's a difference between caring and clinging. There's a difference between being present and being consumed. The Stoics understood this. That's why they practiced detachment, not to escape life, but to engage with it wisely. Marcus Aurelius dealt with war, betrayal, disease, and death. But still, he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He didn't say, ignore reality. He said, don't be ruled by it. That's detachment. That's strategy. Strategic detachment means stepping back from the storm so you can think clearly. It means protecting your emotions so you can lead with reason. It means understanding that if you get pulled into everything, you lose the ability to change anything. When a situation becomes heated, detach. When someone tries to trigger you, detach. When the world feels overwhelming, detach. Not by running away, not by giving up, but by taking a breath and saying, I will not be controlled by this. I will respond with clarity, not chaos. Detachment is not indifference. It's choosing not to let emotions hijack your actions. It's being involved, but not entangled. It's seeing clearly, not through the fog of impulse. You don't owe the world your stress. You don't have to pick up every emotional weight that's thrown at you. Strategic detachment allows you to help without drowning, to care without collapsing, to act without overreacting. It's not about building walls, it's about building perspective. Step back, breathe, Observe. Choose wisely. Master strategic detachment. Because you can't control everything, but you can control how close you let it get. Number 9. Reject nostalgia. The past can be a trap, a soft golden prison made of memories, what-ifs and stories that are no longer true. You think about how things used to be, and it comforts you, or it hurts you. Either way, it pulls you out of the present. And the present is the only place you can actually live, act, and change. Nostalgia feels innocent, but it's dangerous. It whispers that the best days are behind you, that the past was pure, simple, better. But here's the truth. The past was never perfect. You just survived it. You adapted. You grew through it. And now you're here. The Stoics warned against clinging to time that's already gone. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, the present is all we ever lose. Not because the past is bad, but because focusing on it keeps you from acting now. And the Stoic path is all about now, what you can do, what you can control, who you can become. Think about this. When you're stuck in nostalgia, you're not grateful for the present. You're disappointed by it. You're not moving forward. You're stuck in a story. And worst of all, you miss the opportunities right in front of you because your eyes are fixed on a world that no longer exists. Reject nostalgia, not because the past wasn't valuable, but because it's already served its purpose. It taught you, it shaped you, but it cannot guide you. Only reason and action can do that now. So next time your mind drifts into longing for the good old days, stop and ask, what am I avoiding right now? What am I romanticizing? What can I build today that's even better than yesterday? You weren't meant to live in rewind. You were meant to grow, to evolve, to move forward with strength, not with longing. The present is where your power is. The past is just a chapter you've already written. You don't need to read it again and again. You need to write the next one, with clarity, with intention, and without chains. Reject nostalgia. Honor the past, but don't live there. Your life is happening now, so be here, fully. Number 10. See thoughts as echoes, not commands. Your mind speaks all day long. Thoughts rise, fall, twist, repeat. Some are useful, some are not. Some are wise, most are noise. But here's the truth. Just because a thought appears doesn't mean it must be obeyed. Your thoughts are not orders. They are echoes, reflections of emotions, memories, fears, or random noise from the world around you. One moment your mind says, I can do this. The next, I'm not good enough. One day it says, everything's fine. The next, everything is falling apart. Which one is true? The Stoics taught us, the wise person doesn't follow every thought. They examine it. When a thought shows up, don't salute it like a soldier receiving orders. Observe it like a guard at the gate. Ask, where did this come from? Does it help me? Does it hurt me? Does it align with who I want to be? Most people treat every thought as a fact. I feel anxious, so something must be wrong. I feel angry, so someone must be punished. I feel hopeless, so maybe I am. But those are just feelings disguised as truth. They're not truth. They're weather, passing through. Don't build your life around a cloud. Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you think about it that matters. The Stoics knew the mind can be trained, and training starts with awareness. Noticing the thought, questioning it, then choosing to follow it. or let it go. Try it. The next time a thought comes, pause. Don't grab it. Don't push it away. Just look at it. Name it. This is worry. This is ego. This is fear. When you name it, you create distance. When you create distance, you create power. Your mind will keep talking. That's what it does. But you get to choose what you believe. You get to choose what you act on. So don't treat thoughts like commands. Treat them like echoes. Some you'll keep, most you'll let fade. That's how you stay free. That's how you stay strong. Number 11. Shrink your footprint of need. Need less. That's the message. In a world that constantly tells you to want more, chase more, collect more, the Stoic chooses less. Not because they can't have more, but because they know freedom lives in simplicity. Every extra thing you need becomes a chain. Every craving becomes a weakness. Every desire becomes a distraction from what truly matters. The more you need to feel okay, the more you give the world power over your peace. Seneca said, "Being poor is not having too little, it is wanting more." And he was right. Some people have everything, yet feel empty. Others have almost nothing, and still walk with calm and confidence. The difference? One controls their needs, the other is controlled by them. So shrink your footprint of need. Ask yourself, do I really need this? Or have I just been told I should want it? Would my peace disappear without it? If yes, then it owns you. The Stoics practiced this daily. They called it voluntary discomfort, sleeping on the floor, eating plain food, walking in the cold, not to suffer, but to remind themselves, I can be okay with less. Try it. Choose to go without sometimes. Delay gratification. Say no to comfort when it's easy to grab. Learn that you're stronger than your cravings, because every time you choose less, your mind gets clearer, your body gets tougher, your soul gets quieter, and you stop being a slave to things that don't actually matter. Don't misunderstand. Stoicism isn't about being poor or rejecting joy. It's about not needing excess to feel whole. It's about being complete within yourself. Most people build their lives around stuff, status, luxury, attention. But what happens when those things are gone? Who are you without them? That's what the Stoic trains for, to be content with little, to walk freely in a world full of noise and need. Shrink your footprint of need. The less you depend on, the more unshakable you become. And that's real power. Number 12. Delay praise as a discipline. You did something well. You finished the task. You stayed calm under pressure. You showed up with discipline. Naturally, a part of you wants to be seen, to be told, "Good job," to hear applause. That's normal. But here's the danger. If you start needing praise to stay motivated, you're no longer in control. Your motivation belongs to other people. The Stoics didn't chase applause. They chased virtue. They did what was right because it was right, not because someone clapped for them. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." That's not about self-hate. It's about being strong enough to keep going even when no one notices. Praise feels good, but it's addictive. Once you get used to it, you start performing for approval instead of principle. You start asking, did they like it? Instead of, was it good? Was it right? And when the applause doesn't come, you hesitate, you slow down, or worse, you quit. But strength is built in silence, in the hours when no one is watching, in the work done without credit, in the discipline that doesn't post itself online. So practice this. Do something good today and don't tell anyone. Help someone and keep it private. Make progress without posting proof. Then sit with it. Feel the urge to be praised and don't feed it. That's your training. That's discipline. You don't have to hate praise. You just don't have to rely on it. Let it come if it comes, but never let it be your reason. When you delay praise, you train yourself to act from character, not ego. You build an inner standard that doesn't rise and fall with likes, comments, or compliments. Let your reward be the growth itself. Let your victory be the fact that you showed up and did the work. Delay praise as a discipline, not because it's wrong to be recognized, but because it's stronger not to need it. Number 13. Let go of the last word reflex. You don't always have to respond. You don't always have to correct. You don't need to win every argument, prove every point, or have the final say. That need, the craving to speak last, is not strength. It's ego. And ego is always loud, always defensive, always fragile. Let's be honest. How many times have you wasted your energy trying to win a conversation that didn't matter? How many times have you typed that message, sent that reply, made that sarcastic remark just to feel like you won? And then what? Did it bring peace or just more tension? The Stoics knew better. Epictetus said, "It is better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak and remove all doubt." Not because silence makes you weak, but because silence means you've chosen self-control over ego. The reflex to have the last word is driven by pride. It says, I need to be right, I need to be heard, I need to make sure they know. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. Let your actions speak. Let your peace speak. Let your restraint speak. You don't need to clap back. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone. Some people don't want clarity. They want control. Some people aren't listening. They're waiting for their turn to talk. Don't play their game. Instead, train yourself to pause. When someone insults you, stay calm. When someone misunderstands you, stay grounded. When someone twists your words, stay focused. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Does silence protect my peace better than words right now? Am I trying to be helpful or just trying to be right? Letting go of the last word doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're wise enough to know that truth doesn't need to shout, that dignity doesn't argue, that real strength is calm, not loud. So next time the urge rises, the itch to reply, correct, or clap back, pause, breathe, let it pass, let them talk, let go of the last word reflex. Choose stillness over noise. That's how you rise above. That's how you lead. Number 14. Refuse unearned opinions. Everybody has an opinion. Most give it freely, loudly, without being asked. But here's the truth. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every voice should enter your mind. And not every critic has earned the right to speak into your life. The Stoics understood this. Epictetus said, if someone tried to hand you a rotten fish, would you take it? Then why do you accept worthless opinions, judgments from people who don't know your path, don't share your values, and wouldn't carry the weight you carry? You must learn to separate noise from wisdom. If someone hasn't done the work, their opinion on your effort means nothing. If someone wouldn't trade places with you, If they wouldn't live with your choices, your pressure, your mission, why let their words shape your path? Look around. Most people are quick to speak and slow to understand. They judge from the outside. They speak from insecurity, not insight. They don't see the late nights, the quiet discipline, the inner battles. All they see is a moment, and they think they know the whole story. Don't argue. Don't defend. Just remember, they didn't earn the right to shape you. Now, this isn't about arrogance. It's not about rejecting all feedback. It's about having a filter, a strong one. If the person giving advice lives by the same values, if they've walked the road you're walking, if they speak with humility and care, listen. But if they haven't earned it, let it go. Practice this. When you hear criticism, don't react. Pause. Ask, does this person live with discipline? Do they speak from experience? Do they actually care if I grow? If the answer is no, move on. Fast. You're not here to live according to untested opinions. You're here to live by tested principles, by truth, by strength. So let the world talk. Let them assume. Let them judge from a distance. You know who you are. You know what you're building. Refuse unearned opinions and protect your mind like it's sacred, because it is. Number 15. Fast from outrage. Outrage is addictive. It feels powerful in the moment, like fire in your chest, like something righteous, something bold. But most of the time it's just noise, loud, emotional, uncontrolled noise. And the more you feed it, the weaker you become. Today, people wake up looking for something to be mad about. A tweet, a headline, a comment, a mistake. It doesn't matter how small. If it gives them a reason to explode, they take it. And it drains them. Hour by hour, day by day, they burn themselves out over things they cannot control. The Stoic doesn't live that way. The Stoic fasts from outrage. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "How much more harmful are the consequences of anger than the things that caused it?" He knew outrage doesn't solve the problem. It only adds to it. It clouds the mind. It steals your reason. It turns you into what you claim to oppose. So try this. Go a full day without outrage. No matter what happens, don't take the bait. Someone cuts you off, let it go. Someone says something offensive, don't react. The news shows something that stirs your anger. Pause and observe, don't feed it. You'll feel the pull, the heat, the desire to react. But in that moment, you have a choice. React like everyone else, or rise above it. And when you feel that urge, ask yourself, is this helping me? Is this making me wiser or just louder? Would the person I want to become get pulled into this? Outrage wants attention. It wants to control your mood. Don't give it what it wants. This is not about being passive. It's about being powerful enough to stay calm, controlled, focused. While others lose themselves in emotion, you stay rooted in reason. Fasting from outrage is a discipline. Like any fast, it's uncomfortable at first, but over time, you become clearer, lighter, stronger. Your energy returns, your mind sharpens, your peace deepens. Fast from outrage, reclaim your clarity, protect your power, because your peace is too valuable to be traded for a moment of noise. Number 16. Decelerate your ambitions. Ambition is powerful. It drives you to grow, to improve, to achieve. But unchecked ambition is a trap. It makes you restless. It blinds you. It pushes you to chase more, faster, harder, without stopping to ask why. That's why you must learn to decelerate your ambitions. Not stop them, not kill them. Just slow them down, on purpose. That's the discipline. In today's world, everyone is sprinting. Bigger goals, more wins, faster timelines. It looks like progress, but often it's panic in disguise. The Stoics warned against this. Seneca wrote, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." When you rush through life chasing a dozen goals, you lose depth, you lose presence, you lose peace. Ask yourself, what's the point of reaching the finish line if you're burned out, bitter and blind to the life you raced past? Decelerating your ambitions doesn't mean losing hunger. It means regaining control. It means choosing depth over speed, quality over noise, direction over motion. You don't have to say yes to every opportunity. You don't have to constantly prove yourself. You don't have to beat the clock. Growth that is rushed is often growth that cracks. You build stronger when you build slowly, intentionally, with awareness. Take a breath. Look around. Ask yourself, is this goal mine or just something I picked up from comparison? Am I moving toward meaning or just moving to keep up? Is faster actually better or just louder? The Stoic life is not a race. It's a walk with purpose. You move forward, but you stay grounded. You climb, but not in panic. You grow, but with peace in your chest. And here's the paradox. When you slow down your ambitions, you make them stronger. You see them clearly. You pursue them with wisdom, not desperation. You stay in control. So don't let the world rush you. Don't let ambition turn you into a machine. Decelerate. Breathe. Choose direction, not just acceleration. Because steady effort over time will always outlast frantic chasing. Decelerate your ambitions. That's not weakness, it's mastery. Number 17. Reject prestige addiction. Prestige feels good. It feeds your ego. It gets you applause, praise, admiration. But like any drug, the more you get, the more you want. And soon you're not doing things because they're right. You're doing them to be seen. That's the danger. Prestige addiction makes you forget your values. It makes you choose appearance over substance. You start chasing titles, recognition, popularity. You start asking, will they notice? Instead of, is this meaningful? The Stoics warned against this. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor, reminded himself daily not to let praise corrupt him. Do not waste what remains of your life in speculating about others. It hinders your purpose. He knew that fame fades, status fades, but character, that stays. Prestige addiction is subtle. You might think you're being ambitious, driven, focused. But if your happiness depends on being admired, you've already lost control. Because the moment people stop clapping, you stop moving. The moment you're not noticed, you feel like you've failed. But you don't exist to be liked. You exist to do what's right. So how do you break free? Start by doing things that no one sees. Acts of discipline, service, patience, done in silence. Build in the dark. Train when no one is watching. Make decisions based on values, not attention. And remind yourself, the work matters more than the credit. Ask yourself, would I still do this if no one ever knew? Would I still act this way if there was no reward? Am I building a life or just an image? That's the test, and that's the path to strength. Remember, prestige is given, but integrity is chosen. One fades, the other lasts. Reject prestige addiction. Do good quietly. Be excellent when no one's watching, because your worth isn't measured by how many people admire you. It's measured by how few people you need to. Number 18. Practice vanishing without anxiety. You don't always have to show up. You don't always have to explain. You don't always have to be visible, active, present in every space, every conversation, every scroll, every update. There is quiet strength in disappearing, without guilt, without fear, without anxiety. But let's be honest, most people panic when they feel unseen. They fear being forgotten. They worry that stepping back means falling behind, so they stay plugged in, constantly present, always performing, always proving. The Stoics lived differently. They didn't chase attention. They didn't fear silence. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet he reminded himself, retreat into yourself. He knew solitude is not loneliness. It's clarity, it's power. It's where you meet your mind again. To vanish on purpose is to reset, to return to stillness, to watch without being pulled in, to rebuild your focus, your energy, your discipline. Not every moment is meant to be shared. Not every feeling needs a reaction. Not every phase of growth happens in public. Disappearing is not a weakness, it's a choice. It's saying, I don't owe the world constant access to me. I don't need to explain my silence. I can take time to sharpen in the shadows. And yes, at first, it's uncomfortable. The urge to check in, to post, to respond, it lingers. You feel like you're missing something. But sit with that discomfort. Let it pass. Let your presence be intentional, not reactive, not desperate, not automatic. Practice this. Vanish for a while. Not forever. Just long enough to breathe, to think, to observe. Step away from the noise. Let people wonder. Let the world move on without you. And watch how calm you become. You'll realize something powerful. You were never lost. You were just too surrounded to see clearly. When you come back, you'll return with more focus, more strength, and more peace, because you didn't disappear out of fear. You did it with discipline. Practice vanishing without anxiety, not to escape life, but to return to it stronger. Number 19. Be your own censor. You don't need someone watching over your shoulder. You don't need a crowd to keep you accountable. You don't need rules posted on the wall. If you want to live with strength, with discipline, with honor, you need to become your own censor. That means you monitor your own thoughts, your own speech, your own actions, not out of fear, but out of principle. Not because someone is judging you, but because you hold yourself to a higher standard. Most people only behave when they're being watched. They act respectful when someone important is in the room. They work hard when the boss walks by. They stay polite when they know it'll be seen. But the Stoic doesn't need an audience. The Stoic leads themselves, especially when no one is watching. Epictetus said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." In other words, once you know the kind of person you want to be, start acting like it, without needing reminders, applause, or pressure. Being your own censor means catching yourself in the small moments. You're about to lie. Stop yourself. You're tempted to cut corners. Remember your principles. You feel like speaking out of anger. Pause and choose better. Not because you'll be punished if you don't, but because you respect yourself enough not to slip. Ask yourself, would I still do this if it were recorded? Would I be proud of this decision if I saw it from the outside? Am I living by my values or just avoiding guilt? This is not about being rigid or self-critical. It's about living with clarity and self-respect. It's about having an internal compass that doesn't waver, no matter what the world is doing around you. The strongest people are not those with the most rules. They're the ones who don't need them. So from now on, don't wait to be corrected. Correct yourself. Don't wait to be told. No. Don't wait to be caught. Rise above the need. Be your own censor. Lead yourself. That's what it means to be truly free. Number 20. Say no without armor. You don't need to explain. You don't need to justify. You don't need to soften your boundaries with fake excuses or nervous smiles. You are allowed to say no, clearly, calmly, and without guilt. But most people don't. They armor up. They over-explain. They wrap their no in fluff, hoping to avoid disapproval. They say, "I'm really busy, maybe later," when the truth is, they just don't want to. And that's okay. That's honest. But we've been trained to believe that saying no makes us selfish, rude, or difficult. The Stoics didn't believe that. They believed in living by reason, not fear. In doing what is right, not what is easy. Saying no when you mean no is not harsh. It's strong. It's clean. It's clear. Every time you say yes to something you don't believe in, don't care about, or don't have energy for, you're stealing time from what matters most. You're trading your peace for comfort. And comfort, in this case, is weakness. Learn to say no without armor. Not with arrogance, but with confidence. Not with coldness, but with clarity. You don't owe everyone access. You don't owe everyone your time. You can decline an invitation. You can walk away from a conversation. You can pass on a project. And you don't have to dress it up. Try this. The next time you want to say no, just say it. Don't explain it unless you truly want to. Don't pad it with apologies you don't mean. Stand on your values. Trust your reasons. Let the silence after your no be part of your strength. A clear no is better than a dishonest yes. It's more respectful to others and far more respectful to yourself. So drop the armor. Let the word speak for itself. Say no with peace. Say no with purpose. Say no like someone who knows what they stand for. Say no without armor. That's not rejection, it's self-respect. Number 21. Expect betrayal without bitterness. At some point, someone you trust will let you down. A friend, a partner, a colleague, maybe even family. It won't be fair. It won't make sense. And yes, it will hurt. But if you're walking the Stoic path, you must learn this. Betrayal is part of life, and bitterness is a choice. Most people carry betrayal like a wound that never heals. They replay the moment. They build walls. They grow cold. But in doing so, they give the person who betrayed them more power than they ever deserved. The Stoic doesn't live that way. The Stoic accepts reality. People are flawed, even the ones you love, even the ones with good intentions. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, you will meet people who are selfish, ungrateful, dishonest, jealous. Not to become cynical, but to prepare, so that when betrayal happens, you're not surprised and you're not shaken. Expect betrayal, not because you want it, but because you're wise enough to know it happens. It's not personal, it's human nature, weakness, fear, greed. These things live in everyone, including you. But here's the key. Don't let betrayal turn you bitter. Don't become what hurt you. Don't close off your heart to protect your pride. Forgiveness isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's strength. It's saying, you don't control my peace. I release this and I move forward. Bitterness is a slow poison. You think it protects you, but it only damages you. It keeps you locked in a story that's already over. The Stoic doesn't cling to stories. They cling to reality. And the reality is this: betrayal happens. People fail. You learn. You adapt. You keep your peace. So next time someone breaks your trust, feel the pain, but don't stay there. Reflect, but don't ruminate. Expect it, but don't fear it. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I protect my peace going forward? Who do I want to be, even when others fail me? Expect betrayal without bitterness. Let it sharpen your judgment, not harden your heart. That's how you stay open, without being naive. That's how you stay strong, without growing cold. Number 22. Rehearse others' errors. People will disappoint you. They will lie. They will be careless. They will forget, ignore, betray, overreact, and underdeliver. That's life. That's humanity. And if you expect perfection, you will break. But if you rehearse their errors, prepare for them ahead of time, you stay strong, calm, and unshaken. The Stoics had a name for this: premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Marcus Aurelius began each day by imagining the rudeness, the selfishness, the ignorance he would face. Not to become bitter, but to build mental armor. To walk into the world ready, not reactive. You don't rehearse others' errors to judge them. You do it to stop being surprised. You know someone will speak out of turn. Someone will cut you off. Someone will take credit for your work. Someone won't text back. Someone will act from ego instead of understanding. So why be shocked when it happens? Rehearsing it doesn't mean you expect the worst from everyone. It means you are choosing wisdom over fantasy. It means you're preparing your mind the same way a soldier trains for battle, before the battle begins. Here's how to practice it. Each morning, take 1 quiet minute. Say to yourself, today I will face rudeness. I will face carelessness. I may be let down. Then say, and when it happens, I will remain calm. I will not take it personally. I will respond with reason. That one mental rehearsal can change your entire day, because now when someone slips, you won't take it as a personal attack. You'll take it as expected. When someone falls short, you won't explode. You'll exhale. You've already seen it in your mind. This isn't about becoming numb. It's about becoming steady. The truth is, people will make mistakes, but their mistakes don't have to become your emotional burden. Rehearse others' errors, not to build walls, but to build strength. Not to expect failure, but to remain unshaken when it comes. That's stoicism. That's power. That's peace. Number 23. Detach from being understood. You won't always be understood. You can speak clearly, act with good intentions, explain yourself calmly, and still, people will twist your words, misread your actions, and assign motives that don't belong to you. That's life. And if you're not careful, the need to be understood will become a prison. Here's the truth. You don't control how others see you. You only control what you do, how you think, and the values you live by. If your peace depends on being seen correctly, you've handed your happiness to the world, and the world is careless with it. The Stoics knew this. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Why? Because growth often looks strange to others. Discipline looks cold. Silence looks passive. Strength looks harsh. People misunderstand what they don't practice. And that's not your burden to carry. Detachment is not indifference. It's freedom from emotional dependence. It's the ability to say, I know who I am. If they don't understand, that's okay. This isn't easy. The ego wants to explain itself, to be seen, to be validated. But the more you chase understanding from others, the more you lose understanding of yourself. So train to let go. Let people misjudge you. Let them question your silence, your choices, your path. You're not here to be explained. You're here to live with clarity. Be kind, but don't over-explain. Be true, but don't beg to be seen. Let your actions do the speaking, even if the world chooses not to listen. Ask yourself, if I'm misunderstood, does it change my principles? Am I living for truth or for approval? Is peace worth more than being right in someone else's eyes? Detach from being understood, not out of arrogance, but out of wisdom. Because when you stop needing to be seen correctly, you finally start seeing yourself clearly. Number 24. View rejection as neutrality. Rejection feels personal. It stings. It echoes in your mind like a message that says, you're not enough. But that's a lie. The truth is, rejection isn't a weapon, it's a signal. And most of the time it has nothing to do with your worth. The Stoics taught us to see things as they are, not as we feel they are. So here's how to see rejection the Stoic way. As neutral. Not good, not bad, just information. Just one path closed so another can open. You didn't get the job? That's a fact, not an insult. Someone didn't choose you. That's a decision, not a judgment. A door shut in your face. That's direction, not disgrace. When you take rejection personally, you give it power. You let it define you. But when you see it with clarity, you realize it's just life moving, shifting, guiding, not punishing you, positioning you. Marcus Aurelius said, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed." The same applies to rejection. If you don't see it as failure, it won't be failure. If you don't take it as shame, it won't be shame. It's your interpretation that shapes your experience, not the event itself. Next time you're rejected, pause. Don't react. Don't spiral. Just ask, is this really an attack, or is it just a redirection? Am I actually hurt, or am I just surprised that things didn't go my way? Is this rejection saying I'm unworthy, or just saying, not this, not now? Most rejection isn't personal. It's timing, it's fit, it's chance. And even when it is personal, it still doesn't define you. It just reveals who or what isn't aligned with your path. You don't have to fight rejection. You just have to stop clinging to it. Let it pass through you like wind. Let it move you without breaking you. So don't fear it. Don't resent it. Don't carry it. View rejection as neutrality. Not an enemy, not a failure, just a message. And sometimes that message is simply, keep going. Number 25. Let others win in perception. Let them think they're ahead. Let them believe they've won. Let them walk away with the final word, the louder voice, the applause, the spotlight. If it brings them peace, let them have it. Because the Stoic doesn't play for appearances. The Stoic plays for truth, for substance, for inner stillness. We live in a world obsessed with how things look. People build their entire identities around image. They want to be seen as successful, as powerful, as right, even when they're not. And that's fine. Let them play that game. But don't get pulled into it. You have nothing to prove. Your value is not up for debate. If someone misunderstands you, twists your words, downplays your efforts, let them win in their own mind. That's their reward. Yours is peace. Seneca said, "It is the power of a great mind to be unmoved by praise or blame," meaning, whether they clap or criticize, you remain steady. Whether they think you're the hero or the fool, you remain rooted. That's strength, not the need to be right, but the strength to walk away when being right no longer matters. Ask yourself, do I need to be seen winning, or do I need to live well? Am I trying to look strong or be strong? Is my pride louder than my principles? The ego screams, "They can't think that about me." But wisdom whispers, "Let them. You know who you are." This doesn't mean you let people walk over you. It means you choose your battles. You stop fighting for appearances. You stop spending energy trying to control how others see you. Instead, you control how you show up, calm, clear, unbothered. So when someone plays the game of perception, smiling louder, speaking faster, performing confidence, step back. Let them have it. Let others win in perception. You win in peace. You win in truth. And that's a prize few people ever earn. Number 26. Train in invisible service. Do good and don't announce it. Help others and tell no one. Serve quietly without expecting thanks, praise, or recognition, because the highest kind of strength is the kind that doesn't seek attention. It just acts silently, consistently, out of principle. We're taught to showcase everything, every kind gesture, every charitable act, every moment of discipline. But the Stoic sees through this. The Stoic knows, if you only serve to be seen, you're not serving, you're performing. True service doesn't care who's watching. It isn't loud. It doesn't post about itself. It simply asks, what's the right thing to do? And then it does it. Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man in Rome, yet he reminded himself, when you have done a good deed, do not seek applause. The deed is enough. Why? Because the goal of action is impact, not credit. The work matters more than the recognition. The world doesn't need more performers. It needs more people who quietly carry the weight. So train yourself. Pick up what someone dropped. Say nothing. Offer a kind word. Expect nothing back. Help someone struggling. Walk away without a story to tell. This isn't weakness. It's discipline. It's humility. It's power under control. Ask yourself, would I still do this if no one ever knew? Am I doing this to help or to be seen helping? Can I let go of the need to be noticed and just live by my values? Because real strength doesn't need applause. Real goodness doesn't need witnesses. And real service, the kind that changes you, is done in silence. Train in invisible service. Do the right thing and walk away, not for them, not for your image, but for your soul. Number 27. Use others' flaws to train your patience. People will test you. They'll be rude. They'll talk over you. They'll act selfish, careless, unreliable. You'll be tempted to snap, to judge, to lose your cool. But what if, just what if, you saw those moments as training? That's what the Stoic does. Every flaw you notice in someone else is a chance to grow stronger yourself. Instead of saying, "Why are they like this?" the Stoic says, "Here's my chance to practice patience." Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, when you wake up, expect to meet people who are arrogant, dishonest, envious, and selfish. He wasn't being negative, he was preparing himself. Because when you expect imperfection, you don't take it personally, you don't react, you stay grounded. Think about it. You train your body by lifting weights. You build muscle through resistance. Patience is the same. You build it through difficulty, through tension. And what better resistance than someone's bad behavior? Someone interrupts you? Practice listening without needing to speak. Someone speaks harshly? Practice responding with calm. Someone disappoints you? Practice grace instead of resentment. This doesn't mean you excuse harmful behavior. It means you don't let it shape you. You use it as fuel to shape yourself. Ask yourself, am I letting their weakness weaken me? Or am I using this to strengthen my discipline? Can I remain calm, not because they deserve it, but because I do? This mindset changes everything. Instead of being reactive, you become intentional. Instead of being drained by people, you're sharpened by them. You start seeing every frustrating moment as a quiet opportunity to stay still when your emotions rise, to breathe when you want to speak, to lead by example when others fall short. That's how the Stoic becomes unshakable, not by avoiding difficult people, but by training through them. Use others' flaws to train your patience, not for them, for you, because every test is a chance to build the strength no one can take from you. Number 28. Observe without reacting. Not everything needs your opinion. Not everything needs your reaction. In fact, the more you observe without reacting, the stronger you become. Because in that space, between what happens and what you do, you gain control, and that's where power lives. Someone says something offensive? You don't have to reply. A problem shows up suddenly? You don't have to panic. A feeling rises inside you? You don't have to act on it. The Stoic is not cold, but they are composed. They know how to pause, to watch, to listen. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That begins with observation, with stillness, with not letting every emotion push you into action. Most people react instantly. They speak before thinking. They type before breathing. They explode at the first sign of discomfort, and then they regret it. They apologize. They clean up the mess. But the Stoic chooses the higher ground, to see clearly before responding, to watch their own mind, to step back and say, "Let me look at this first." This is not weakness. This is mastery. Because when you react to everything, you become a puppet, pulled by emotion, by others, by chaos. But when you observe without reacting, you become grounded, unshaken, clear. So start training it. When someone frustrates you, pause. When something surprises you, breathe. When a feeling rises, watch it. Don't judge it, just observe. Ask yourself, what's really happening here? Is this worth my energy? Am I responding with wisdom or just reacting out of habit? Silence is powerful. Stillness is strength. You don't have to fight every battle. You don't have to answer every insult. You don't have to move just because something stirs. Observe without reacting. Let the storm pass. Let the noise fade. And when you do act, do it with clarity, not impulse. That's how you lead yourself. That's how you lead others. Number 29. Watch your face. You speak even when you say nothing. Your face, your eyes, your mouth, your posture, it all reveals what's going on inside. Disapproval, frustration, arrogance, impatience. Even if your words are calm, your face might betray the truth. That's why the Stoic watches their face, not for vanity, but for discipline. They know that self-control isn't just in how you talk, it's in how you hold yourself when you're tested. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Let the God within you rule a man who is of one mind, and who remains silent or speaks according to law, and who is content with whatever happens to him." In simple terms, your outward expression should reflect inner calm, not irritation, not superiority, not panic. When someone disagrees with you, do you smirk? When you're waiting impatiently, do your eyes roll? When you're under pressure, does your frustration leak through your expression? These moments may seem small, but they expose something bigger, a lack of control. Your face is a mirror. It shows whether your principles are steady or just words. So train it. When someone annoys you, practice softening your expression. When you feel judgment rise, keep your face still. When things don't go your way, let your eyes stay calm. This isn't about pretending, it's about alignment, about making sure your outside matches the discipline you're building inside. Ask yourself, what is my face saying right now? Would I be proud of this expression if someone I respect saw it? Am I reacting or responding with presence? Because every glance, every raised eyebrow, every sigh, they all tell a story. And if you're not careful, they'll speak for you before your values do. The Stoic face is not blank, it's composed. It's not fake, it's trained. It doesn't hide emotion, it chooses when and how to express it. Watch your face. Let it show poise, not pride, peace, not ego. And in time, your presence alone will speak volumes without you saying a word. Number 30. Love others stoically. Love is not weakness. Real love, the kind the Stoics lived by, is strength under control. It's deep, loyal, steady, but never possessive, never desperate, never dependent. To love stoically is to care without clinging, to give without needing, and to stay grounded even when others change, leave, or disappoint. Most people love with expectation. They attach their happiness to how others behave. If the person loves them back, they're joyful. If not, they're broken. But this isn't love. It's attachment. It's a deal, and deals break. The Stoic doesn't love like that. The Stoic loves fully, with presence, with kindness, with truth, but also with understanding. People are temporary, flawed, and free. You cannot own them. You cannot control them, and trying to will only bring pain. Epictetus said, "When you kiss your child, say to yourself, 'Tomorrow they may die.' Not to be cold, but to love with full awareness of loss, to not take a single moment for granted, to hold people gently, not tightly." Loving stoically means this: you're there for others, but not destroyed when they leave. You're kind, but not controlled by their approval. You forgive, but don't become blind. You help, but you don't demand anything back. You understand that love is a gift, not a trade. That love is strongest when it's rooted in character, not emotion. And that real love always leaves space. Space for freedom, space for imperfection, space for change. Ask yourself, do I love them or just need them to make me feel whole? Am I giving them freedom or trying to control them with love? Would I still love this way if I expected nothing in return? Because the goal is not to stop loving. The goal is to love better, with clarity, with strength, with peace. Love others stoically. Hold them close, but never tightly. Care deeply, but never desperately. Let your love be calm, not chaotic. That is how the Stoic loves, with open hands, open heart, and an anchored soul. Number 31. Die before you die. One day, your time will run out. Your heart will beat for the last time. The world will go on, and you won't be in it. That truth scares most people, so they ignore it, they avoid it, they pretend they have more time. But the Stoic faces it, clearly, calmly, daily. To die before you die means to remember your death now, while you're still alive. Not in a dark or depressing way, but in a way that makes you sharper, wiser, more present. Seneca said, "He who learns to die unlearns to be a slave." Why? Because once you truly accept that everything ends, your fear ends, your attachments weaken, your pride fades. What once controlled you no longer does. You stop wasting time. You stop waiting for the right moment. You start living on purpose. Ask yourself, if I had a year left, what would I change? If I had a week left, what would I say and to whom? If today was my last, what would truly matter? Let those questions shape how you live. When you die before you die, your priorities shift. You speak more honestly. You let go of petty things. You stop chasing things that don't fulfill you. You forgive faster. You become harder to offend. Death stops being something to fear and starts being your greatest teacher. The Stoics practiced this constantly. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that he was a soul carrying a corpse, that every day was borrowed, that each morning was a gift. So when challenges came, he didn't complain. He remembered, I'm still here. I still have time. I still have work to do. So die before you die. Strip away what doesn't matter. Detach from ego. Let death remind you how to live, not someday, but now. Because when you live with death on your shoulder, you stop living small. You stop hesitating. You start showing up fully. And when your final day truly comes, you'll meet it ready, with peace, not regret, with strength, not fear, because you've already died once. And from that, you learned how to live. Number 32. Treat every conversation as your last with them. You never know when it will be the final time, the final word, the final look, the final goodbye. And most people don't realize it until it's too late, until the silence is permanent, until the door never opens again. That's why the Stoic trains their mind daily to speak as if this could be the last time. This isn't about fear, it's about presence. It's about waking up to the truth that nothing is promised, especially not time with people you care about. So you stop taking small moments for granted. You stop rushing through conversations. You stop treating people like they'll always be there, because they won't. Epictetus reminded his students, "You are a mortal talking to mortals," meaning no one's time is guaranteed, not theirs, not yours. Every person you speak to is here now, but could be gone tomorrow. And if that thought humbles you, good, let it. Next time you speak to someone, slow down. Look them in the eye. Listen, not to reply, but to understand. Speak, not just to fill space, but to say something that matters. Leave them better, even if only with a kind word or a moment of respect. Ask yourself, if this were our last conversation, would I be proud of how I showed up? Did I give them attention or just words? Did I speak from ego or from care? This mindset doesn't make you sad, it makes you intentional. It makes you choose your words wisely. It makes you love without hesitation and forgive faster. It makes you live with fewer regrets. The Stoic doesn't fear the end. They prepare for it. And in doing so, they live more fully in the present. They leave nothing unsaid, nothing assumed, nothing wasted. So practice it, even in small talks, even in difficult moments. Speak with honesty, act with warmth. Let people feel that they mattered in your presence. Treat every conversation as your last with them, because one day it will be. And when that day comes, you'll be grateful you spoke with your heart, not your ego. Number 33. Measure days by integrity, not productivity. In today's world, you're told to measure your day by output. How much you got done, how fast you moved, how many tasks you checked off. Busy equals successful. Activity equals worth. But the Stoic sees things differently. Your value doesn't come from how much you do, it comes from how you do it. Not speed, but purpose. Not volume, but virtue. That's why the Stoic doesn't ask, was I productive today? They ask, was I honest? Was I disciplined? Was I true to my values? Anyone can stay busy. Machines stay busy. But not everyone can stay in integrity, to their word, to their principles, to their higher self. Marcus Aurelius never said, do more. He said, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. That's how he measured the day, not by accomplishments, but by alignment. So ask yourself at the end of each day, did I do what I said I would do? Did I show up with patience, honesty, and strength? Did I cut corners to look efficient? Or did I stay true to what matters? Some days you'll get a lot done. Some days you won't. That doesn't mean you failed, but if you lied, if you acted from ego, if you betrayed your values just to feel productive, then no list of tasks can save you. You want to live like a Stoic. Build your day on character, not image, not hustle, not metrics. Character. Choose quality over quantity. Choose depth over motion. Choose right over easy. And when you lay your head down at night, don't count how much you did. Count how well you lived. Measure your days by integrity, not productivity. That's how you stay centered in a world that's always racing. That's how you build a life that actually means something. Number 34. Shrink eternity into urgency. You don't have forever. Stop living like you do. The clock is ticking, not just in the background, but right in front of you. Every hour you delay, every moment you waste, every excuse you feed, it's time you'll never get back. And yet, most people move through life like they have an unlimited supply of it. They say, someday, as if it's guaranteed. I'll start when I'm ready. I'll do it when things calm down. I have time. But the Stoic sees through the illusion. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." That's not morbid, that's powerful. It means live like it matters. Now, shrink eternity into urgency. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. What exists is now, and it's all you truly own. You keep thinking you have time, but time isn't lost in years. It's lost in minutes, in distractions, in overthinking, in postponing the work, the change, the hard conversation. You don't need more time. You need more intention. So act, speak, build, Begin. Start writing the book. Make the call. Fix the habit. Apologize. Let go. Begin again. Not tomorrow, now. Ask yourself, if this day was my last, how would I spend it? What would I regret not doing if this week slipped away? Am I living with urgency or just running in circles? Urgency isn't about panic. It's about presence. It's about treating your time like it matters, because it does. It's about recognizing that every day is a piece of your life being spent, and once it's gone, it doesn't come back. Shrink eternity into urgency, not to rush, but to focus, not to fear, but to live fully. The future is just a hope. The past is already written, so honor the moment in front of you and use it well. Number 35. Avoid the illusion of preparation. Planning is wise, reflection is useful, learning is necessary, but there's a fine line between preparing and hiding behind preparation. The Stoic sees that line clearly. Most people don't. You say you're getting ready, you say you're still researching, you say the timing's not right yet, but deep down you know the truth. You're stalling. You're scared. You're trying to perfect something before you even begin. That's the illusion of preparation. It feels like progress, but it's not. It feels productive, but it's really avoidance dressed as planning. The Stoics didn't waste time. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." In other words, act. Now. You don't need to have it all figured out. You need to begin. You won't become strong by reading about discipline. You become strong by living it. You won't master calm by thinking about peace. You build it by facing pressure and not folding. Philosophy is action, not theory. Ask yourself, am I preparing or am I procrastinating? Am I learning or just delaying what I already know I need to do? Am I afraid of starting because I might fail or because I might change? The truth is, you'll never feel 100% ready. The conditions won't be perfect. The fear won't fully go away, and that's okay. Start anyway. You can still study, still refine, still grow, but do it in motion, not on pause. Avoid the illusion of preparation, because every day you wait for perfect, you lose a chance to become better through action. Jump in, fall, adjust, repeat. That's how you grow. The Stoic doesn't sit on the sidelines of life. They step in, with clarity, with courage, with a willingness to fail. You don't need more time. You need more truth. And the truth is, you're ready enough. Now go. Number 36. Exit gracefully. Not every chapter is meant to last. Not every place is meant to be stayed in. Not every person is meant to walk with you forever. But when it's time to leave, leave with grace, not drama. Leave with calm, not chaos. Exit gracefully. The ego wants to slam the door, to announce the exit, to burn the bridge and say, they'll regret this. But that's not strength. That's pride wounded and loud. The Stoic doesn't need to prove anything on the way out. They've already said what needed to be said, with their actions, with their values, with their peace. Seneca wrote, "As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters." That applies to your roles, your jobs, your relationships, your seasons of life. What matters is not how long you stayed, but how you carried yourself when you walked away. A clean exit is a sign of a clean mind. It means you don't leave behind bitterness, resentment, or regret. You leave behind clarity, maturity, self-respect. So when something ends, don't cling, don't curse, don't drag it out longer than it needs to last. If it's time to move on, then move. Quietly, confidently, respectfully. Ask yourself, am I leaving to grow or to get revenge? Will I remember this exit with pride or with shame? Is my ego speaking or my wisdom? Whether it's walking out of a room, a role, or a relationship, make your exit clean. Don't throw mud, don't throw blame. Pack your peace and move forward. Because how you leave matters just as much as how you stayed. It says everything about your character, about what you value, about what you've learned. Exit gracefully. No noise, no fire, no need to be remembered. Just strength, just stillness, just you, walking away with your dignity intact. Number 37. Let boredom humble you. Boredom isn't the enemy, it's a mirror. It shows you the truth about your mind when there are no distractions, no noise, no stimulation to hide behind. And that truth can be uncomfortable. But the Stoic doesn't run from boredom. They use it. In modern life, we panic when things slow down. We reach for our phones, scroll endlessly, check for messages, refresh feeds. We fill every quiet moment with noise because stillness feels unbearable. Why? Because boredom forces you to face yourself. But here's what the Stoics understood. Boredom is an opportunity to practice mastery. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Boredom is a perfect example. It's not pain, it's the story you tell yourself about silence. You say, "This is meaningless, this is dull, this is uncomfortable." But in truth, boredom is asking you a simple question. Can you stay present without needing to be entertained? If you can't sit still without reaching for something, you're not free. If your mind needs constant stimulation, it's not strong, it's dependent. Let boredom humble you. Let it show you how restless your thoughts are. Let it reveal how often you run from stillness. Let it expose how little control you sometimes have over your own attention. But don't judge yourself. Use it. Sit in that silence. Breathe. Watch your thoughts come and go. Feel the discomfort and remain. That's where the work is. That's where clarity grows. Ask yourself, why am I so uncomfortable doing nothing? What am I trying to escape? Can I use this stillness to strengthen my focus? The world will always offer distractions, but you don't have to take the bait. Train in boredom like you'd train in the gym. Let it test your patience. Let it shape your discipline. Because if you can stay calm when nothing is happening, you'll stay calm when everything is happening. Let boredom humble you, and in that humility, find control. Number 38. Sacrifice the future self fantasy. There's a version of you that lives only in your mind. The future self. The ideal self. The one-day version. They wake up early. They're focused, disciplined, calm. Everything you want to be, but not yet. Not today. And that's the trap. The fantasy of your future self feels productive. It feels inspiring. But most of the time, it's just a delay disguised as a dream. It gives you permission to avoid the hard work now by promising that one day you'll be ready. But one day is not real. Only today is. The Stoics didn't waste time fantasizing about better versions of themselves. They focused on action, on the present moment, on doing what they could with what they had, now. Marcus Aurelius didn't say, "Become your best self later." He said, You could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow. And that's what most people do. They build castles in their minds, but never lay a single brick in real life. They imagine the future self with perfect habits, clear focus, emotional control, but they keep feeding today's self with excuses, comfort, distraction. You don't need another version of yourself to show up. You need to act with what you have now. No perfection, no waiting, just effort, just presence. Ask yourself, what am I putting off for a version of me that doesn't exist yet? What would happen if I stopped planning and started moving? If I lived like change was only possible now, what would I do differently today? The future self is a shadow. It won't build your life for you. Only you, in this exact moment, can do that. So, sacrifice the fantasy. Give up the illusion. Stop worshipping the later version of you and start showing up as the real one. Because strength isn't found in the person you dream of becoming. It's built in the person you choose to be, today. Sacrifice the future self fantasy and replace it with action. Number 39. Contemplate insignificance without despair. You are one person, on one planet, in one moment of time, a speck in the universe, a breath in history. And that can feel heavy. It can make you ask, what's the point? But the Stoic doesn't run from this truth. They face it without fear. You will be forgotten. So will your achievements, your name, your opinions. 100 years from now, the world will keep turning, and it may not remember you. But that's not depressing. It's liberating. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, everything we do is a grain of sand in an endless desert. He didn't say this to feel small. He said it to stay clear, to remember that ego fades, but virtue remains. When you contemplate your own insignificance, two things can happen. You can fall into despair, or you can let go of the weight you were never meant to carry. You realize you don't need to impress everyone. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to control everything. Because in the grand scheme, your only task is to live well now. Not to be remembered, not to be admired, but to live today with courage, discipline, honesty, and peace. Ask yourself, if nothing I do is permanent, what matters most right now? Am I living for legacy or for integrity? Do I need to be important or just useful, kind, present? Contemplating insignificance brings humility, and humility clears away the noise. It pulls your attention out of the distant future and into the present moment, where life is actually happening. You stop chasing fame. You stop fearing failure. You stop clinging to things you can't keep. And in that stillness, something strange happens. You feel more alive, more grounded, more grateful, because you realize, if life is short, if nothing is promised, if everything fades, then every moment becomes precious. Contemplate insignificance, not to shrink yourself, but to see clearly. You don't need to be big to live a meaningful life. You just need to be true, right here, right now. That's enough. Number 40. Avoid legacy worship. You're not here to be remembered forever. You're here to live well now, to act with integrity, to speak with truth, to build what matters, not for applause, not for monuments, not for fame, but because it's right. Legacy is not the goal. Character is. The world tells you to leave your mark, to build a name that lasts. But the Stoic sees the trap. The more you chase legacy, the more you live for the opinions of people who may never understand you and may not even exist yet. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in history, reminded himself, "Soon you will have forgotten all things, and soon all things will have forgotten you." Not to depress himself, but to stay grounded. To remember that no matter how big your name becomes, time will erase it. Statues crumble, books rot, memories fade. So why obsess over being remembered? Instead, focus on being useful now, kind now, honest now. Let go of the need to be praised for decades after you're gone. That's ego. That's noise. The Stoic path is quiet, humble, rooted in service, not status. Ask yourself, am I doing this because it's right, or because I want to be remembered for it? If no one ever knew my name, would I still live this way? Is my legacy more important to me than the life I'm living right now? Chasing legacy is often just fear of being forgotten. But if you live each day with purpose, you won't need to worry about being remembered. You'll have lived, and that's enough. Avoid legacy worship. Do the work. Live your values. Let go of the need for statues, stories, and signatures in history books. Because the Stoic knows it's better to be good now than to be remembered later. Number 41. Use adversity as an identity test. Anyone can be calm when life is easy. Anyone can sound wise when everything goes their way. But when adversity shows up, when plans collapse, when people disappoint you, when nothing is working, that's when the truth comes out. That's your test, not of your image, not of your potential, but of your identity. The Stoics didn't just tolerate adversity, they welcomed it. Not because they enjoyed pain, but because they knew struggle reveals what comfort hides. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Adversity strips away the surface. No more pretending, no more acting. Only what you truly believe, what you truly value, and who you truly are remain. So when things get hard, don't just ask, "How do I fix this?" Ask, "Who am I right now?" Are you patient or impulsive? Are you grounded or emotional? Are you ruled by ego or led by principle? Adversity gives you a mirror. What you do in the middle of stress, fear, loss, discomfort, that's your real character, not your goals, not your words, your response. And here's the good news. Every test is a chance to sharpen your identity, to rise, to show yourself that you are who you say you are. Ask yourself, can I stay honest under pressure? Can I keep my values when it's hard, not just when it's easy? Can I use this moment to become stronger, not bitter? Most people fall apart when adversity hits. They blame, they panic, they fold. But you're not most people. You are here to use adversity, not to explain your weakness, but to prove your strength. Use adversity as an identity test. Let it reveal, let it refine, let it remind you, this is who I really am, not when it's comfortable, but when it counts. Number 42. Defy the impulse to defend yourself. When someone misunderstands you, criticizes you, questions your motives, what's the first thing you feel? The urge to explain, to fight back, to prove yourself. That's the impulse. And if you're not careful, it becomes a habit. But the Stoic doesn't answer every accusation. They don't waste their energy defending what doesn't need defense. Why? Because truth doesn't panic. Integrity doesn't shout. If you're living with clarity, if your actions are aligned with your values, you don't need to explain yourself to everyone who doubts you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." When someone throws false words at you, don't throw more words back. Don't lower yourself to win their approval. That's not strength. That's insecurity dressed as pride. Let them misunderstand. Let them judge. Let them twist your silence into whatever story they want. If your conscience is clear, your peace is safe. And peace is worth more than being right in someone else's eyes. Most people waste their lives trying to control how others see them, trying to fix every rumor, correct every lie, respond to every critic. But the Stoic sees the truth. You can win the argument and still lose your calm. You can defend yourself and still be misunderstood. Ask yourself, do I need their approval or do I need my peace? Will defending myself change the truth or just feed my ego? Am I answering wisdom or just reacting to noise? Choose silence when words would only create more chaos. Choose dignity when your pride wants to roar. Let your actions speak and let your stillness protect them. Defy the impulse to defend yourself. Let people think what they want. Let them speak. You've got better things to do, like living in alignment with who you are. That's the real defense, and it speaks louder than anything you could say. Number 43. Create a virtue-only to-do list. Most to-do lists are filled with tasks, emails to send, errands to run, calls to make, deadlines to hit. And sure, those things matter, but they aren't what define your day. Your character does. The Stoic doesn't just ask, what do I need to get done? They ask, who do I need to be today? So instead of only tracking what you must accomplish, create a virtue-only to-do list. A list not of actions, but of values. Not what to complete, but how to carry yourself. What if your list looked like this? Be patient with people who frustrate me. Speak honestly, even when it's uncomfortable. Do one thing with full focus, no distractions. Choose silence over gossip. Stay calm when plans fall apart. Show gratitude for anything. Suddenly, your day becomes about who you're becoming, not just what you're doing. The Stoics believed that the real work of life wasn't just external, it was internal. Marcus Aurelius didn't write down his daily meetings or goals. He wrote reminders to stay humble, focused, disciplined, kind. Why? Because virtue is the real result. Tasks come and go. Your inbox will always refill. But did you grow in self-control today? Did you stay true to your principles? Did you practice the kind of strength that doesn't need to be seen? Ask yourself, if I crossed off every task but lost my temper, did I succeed? If I met all my goals but was dishonest, did I win? If I looked productive but wasn't present, was it worth it? Make a list that holds you to your higher self, then live by it. And when the day ends, reflect on it. Not, did I finish everything? But, did I live with integrity? Create a virtue-only to-do list, because in the end, your actions matter, but your character matters more. Number 44. Interrupt envy with curiosity. Envy sneaks in quietly. You see someone winning, and something inside you tightens. You hear good news about someone else, and part of you feels small. You scroll, compare, and suddenly your progress feels meaningless. That's envy. It poisons your focus and warps your judgment. But the Stoic doesn't entertain envy. The Stoic transforms it. And the first step is to interrupt it, not with guilt, not with shame, but with curiosity. Instead of asking, "Why not me?" ask, "What can I learn from them?" Envy says, "They don't deserve that." Curiosity asks, "What did they do that worked?" Envy sees someone's success and assumes it came easy. Curiosity looks deeper at the habits, the patience, the process behind the result. Seneca warned against envy because it distracts us from our own path. It's wasted energy, energy that could have been used to build, to grow, to improve. But curiosity, that turns someone else's success into fuel. When you feel envy rising, pause. Don't fight it, redirect it. Say, "This feeling is a signal. Let me study, not sulk." Let it teach you where you feel behind, and let that discomfort push you, not toward resentment, but toward refinement. Ask yourself, what is this feeling pointing to in me? What can I apply from their journey to mine? Am I willing to do what they did, or am I just wishing for what they have? The truth is, envy looks outward, but traps you inward. Curiosity looks outward, but helps you grow inward. And that's the Stoic way, not to compete, but to learn, not to tear down, but to rise up. So next time envy whispers in your ear, interrupt it. Don't follow it. Don't feed it. Study it. Replace it. Interrupt envy with curiosity. Turn jealousy into motivation. And let someone else's success be a reminder, not of what you lack, but of what you're still capable of becoming. Number 45. Stay small in your wins. Victory is a test. Success, praise, progress, all of it feels good. And that's exactly why it's dangerous. Because if you're not careful, a little success can grow into a lot of ego. And ego blinds you faster than failure ever could. The Stoics knew this. They warned that what lifts you up in pride today can bring you down in weakness tomorrow. You hit a goal? Great. Stay grounded. Someone compliments you? Thank them. Then move on. You outperform others? Don't look down. Look inward. Ask, did I do it with character? Marcus Aurelius was emperor of Rome. He ruled the most powerful empire in the world. Yet every day he reminded himself, "You're just a man, not a god, not untouchable, just a soul with a body, doing your job." Why? To stay small in his wins, to stay clear, to stay free from the illusion of superiority. Because success isn't a finish line. It's just another step on the path. And if you stop walking, if you get distracted by your reflection, you lose direction. So when you win, be calm, be thankful, be focused. Don't broadcast it. Don't let it change your posture. The real measure of success is how little it changes your humility. Ask yourself, am I celebrating the result or the effort behind it? Am I seeking applause or inner approval? Can I succeed quietly without needing attention? Anyone can be humble in failure. The Stoic is humble in victory. Stay small in your wins. Let your work speak louder than your words. Let your growth be private. Let your pride stay silent. Because the strongest person in the room is the one who doesn't need to be seen. Number 46. Speak only what withstands scrutiny. Words are easy. Anyone can talk. Anyone can make promises, give opinions, or repeat what they've heard. But the Stoic holds their tongue to a higher standard. If it can't hold up under pressure, don't say it. We live in a world flooded with noise, opinions shouted without thought, claims made without evidence, emotions disguised as facts. But your words should be different. They should be solid, honest, thought through, able to withstand scrutiny. Before you speak, ask yourself, is this true? Is this necessary? Could I defend this calmly, if challenged? Because if your words collapse under questioning, they were never strong to begin with. Epictetus taught his students to value silence until they had something worth saying, something that could survive doubt, pushback, or disagreement without needing to be rescued by ego or volume. You don't have to speak all the time, and you don't have to speak fast. What you say should be something you'd be proud to repeat in a room full of wise, honest people. So don't gossip, it crumbles under facts. Don't exaggerate, it falls apart under detail. Don't bluff, it dissolves under pressure. Speak only what you've lived, what you've tested, what you're willing to stand by without fear. This is not about being perfect. It's about being precise, not loud, but clear, not defensive, but confident in truth. Ask yourself, would I still say this if someone questioned me? Can I stand behind this without hiding in tone or emotion? Is this something a wiser version of me would still believe tomorrow? Let your words be fewer, but firmer. Let them carry weight, not fluff. Let them reflect thought, not impulse. Speak only what withstands scrutiny, because once your words leave your mouth, they speak for your character, long after the noise has faded. Number 47. Quit things before they own you. Not everything you start is worth finishing. Not every habit deserves to stay. Not every commitment needs to be carried to the end. Sometimes, walking away is not weakness, it's wisdom. The Stoic doesn't cling. The Stoic doesn't let pride, routine, or fear keep them trapped. If something no longer serves your values, if it starts to control your time, your peace, your identity, it's time to let it go. Seneca said, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." If your energy is scattered, if your life is bloated with things that once mattered but no longer do, you lose your clarity. You become a servant to what you once chose freely. This is the test. Can you let go before something owns you? A job that pays well but drains your soul. A relationship that's familiar but no longer honest. A goal that looked good on paper but no longer aligns with who you are. Even a routine that once helped you but now traps you. These are hard to quit, not because they're good, but because you've built your identity around them. But the Stoic remembers, you are not what you do, you are how you live, with intention, with courage, with freedom. Ask yourself, am I still choosing this, or am I just stuck in it? Does this help me grow, or does it keep me comfortable? If I had to walk away from this today, who would I be without it? Don't fear quitting. Fear staying too long in the wrong thing. The world tells you that quitting is failure, but the Stoic knows quitting what no longer serves your purpose is strength. It creates space. It clears the path. It brings you back to your center. Quit things before they own you, not recklessly, not emotionally, but with clarity and the courage to choose your life again. Number 48. Be as firm with your desires as with your fears. You know how to resist fear. You've trained yourself to stay calm when things go wrong, to not panic, to not let anxiety lead. But now comes the harder part. Can you resist desire with the same strength? Most people think fear is the enemy, but unchecked desire, that's just as dangerous. Because desire wears a friendly face. It tempts you softly, promises reward, tells you, you deserve this. But behind it is the same thing as fear, loss of control. The Stoics didn't just talk about courage, they talked about restraint. Seneca said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, but because we do not dare, things are difficult." The same goes for desire. Things don't control us because they're tempting. They control us because we don't dare to say no. You fear failure, so you train your mind to face it. Now, desire comfort, attention, pleasure, power, and train your mind to resist it. Not because desire is evil, but because when it controls you, you lose yourself. Ask yourself, would I still want this if no one else saw it? Is this choice leading to strength or softness? Am I chasing this because I need it, or because I'm running from stillness? You don't overcome desire by hating it. You overcome it by standing still in front of it, looking it in the eye and saying, "You don't own me." The same way you'd face fear and keep moving forward. Do the same with cravings, temptations, impulses. Don't flinch, don't follow. Observe, breathe, decline. Desire says, now. The Stoic says, not yet. Desire says, more. The Stoic says, enough. Desire says, you need this to feel good. The Stoic replies, I need nothing to be strong. Be as firm with your desires as you are with your fears, because one pulls you back and the other pulls you off course. True strength stands unmoved in front of both. Number 49. Sacrifice novelty for depth. We live in a world addicted to new experiences, new goals, new ideas, new apps, new distractions. But the Stoic doesn't chase what's next. They commit to going deeper into what already matters. Novelty is exciting. It's fast, shiny, and gives you a quick hit of meaning. But it rarely lasts. Depth, on the other hand, is quiet. It's slow. It doesn't give instant rewards, but it builds something real, something unshakable. Seneca warned, you must linger among a limited number of master thinkers and digest their works, if you would derive ideas which shall win firm hold in your mind. In other words, pick fewer things and go all in. Don't just read more books, reread the ones that change you. Don't chase new habits, master the ones that strengthen you. Don't jump to new goals, perfect the work already in front of you. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters, better. Ask yourself, am I switching because I'm bored or because I've outgrown it? Am I quitting depth to feel busy again? Do I want to be stimulated or transformed? The world will tempt you to skim the surface, but meaning is found beneath it. Growth lives in repetition. Wisdom takes time to reveal itself. The Stoic is not impressed by how many things you try, but by how deeply you understand the few that count. So sacrifice the thrill of what's new for the quiet power of what's lasting. Stay in the book. Stay in the practice. Stay in the routine that shapes you. Don't abandon what's meaningful just because it doesn't feel exciting anymore. Sacrifice novelty for depth, because the goal is not to be entertained, it's to be changed. Not to do everything, but to do the essential things with excellence. Number 50. Smile at the absurd. Life is strange. People are irrational. Plans fall apart. Effort goes unrewarded. The timing is off. The world at times makes no sense, and never asked for your opinion about it. But instead of complaining, the Stoic smiles. Not because they enjoy chaos, but because they understand something most people don't. What you can't control, you must learn to accept, with calm, with clarity, and sometimes with a little humor. Epictetus said, "It's not things that upset us, but our judgments about things." That means the absurd only disturbs you when you expect it to be logical. But life doesn't owe you logic. It gives you reality. And your job is to respond, not with outrage, not with self-pity, but with poise. You spill coffee right after cleaning the floor. Someone criticizes you for doing the right thing. Traffic makes you late to a meeting that didn't matter anyway. The moment you finally relax, another problem arrives. That's life. Unfair, unpredictable, imperfect, but also kind of funny. When you step back, when you stop demanding that everything makes sense, you unlock a quiet power, the ability to smile at the absurd. Not a bitter smile, not sarcasm, but the kind of smile that says, "Of course, this is the game, and I'm still here." Ask yourself, why am I expecting perfection from a world built on imperfection? Is this worth my anger, or just worth a laugh and a breath? Can I flow with this moment instead of fighting it? The absurd isn't here to break you. It's here to train you, to stretch your patience, to sharpen your sense of humor, to remind you not to take yourself too seriously. Because when you stop needing everything to make sense, you start seeing clearly. And when you can smile in the middle of absurdity, you've already won. Smile at the absurd. It's not weakness, it's wisdom, wearing a grin. You've just walked through 50 lessons, not just tips, not just words, but weapons. Tools forged in fire by the greatest minds in history. Marcus, Seneca, Epictetus. They didn't teach strength as muscle. They taught it as mastery, of mind, of action, of self. What have you learned? To rise early with purpose, to silence your ego, to walk away when pride tells you to stay. To let go of comfort, applause, outrage, fear, and still stand tall. You've learned that strength isn't loud. It's still. It's disciplined. It's calm in chaos. That the strongest person in the room is the one who needs nothing, but lives by everything that matters. Now the question is simple. Will you live this or just watch it? Leave a comment below and write, "I choose strength." Say it out loud. Claim it. Not for others, for yourself, for your future. Because when you write it, you don't just remember it, you become it. And if this message sharpened you even 1 inch, subscribe. This channel is here to train your mind, not just fill it. No fluff, no noise, just the discipline, clarity, and courage that will carry you far beyond 99% of people. Train daily, stay grounded, and live like a Stoic. Marcus Aurelius once emphasized that true power resides not in the external events around us, but within our minds. This understanding gives us the strength to navigate a world where emotions can often feel like tumultuous waves. But how can we find our anchor amidst this storm? In this video, we will delve into 7 Stoic lessons that offer us the key to mastering our emotions and navigating through life's challenges with wisdom and unwavering calmness. Before we dive in, I'd like to ask if you could please like the video. This helps us spread the powerful philosophy of Stoicism. If you haven't subscribed yet, I highly recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you never miss any of our inspiring content. As always, be a person of virtue. Take a firm grasp of these teachings and watch until the end to fully understand what is within your control. Have you ever found yourself caught in a storm in life, whether due to unexpected events, disappointments, or sudden changes? The Stoic philosophers of ancient Greece and Rome offer us a safe haven during these storms, particularly through the concept of the dichotomy of control. For example, if you've ever planned an outdoor event and it begins to rain, you realize you cannot control the weather. However, you can control how you respond. You can choose to be frustrated and upset, or you can adapt and view the rain as a refreshing change. According to Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, some things are under our control and others are not. This simple truth allows us to transform our lives by recognizing that while we can influence certain aspects of life, many things are beyond our control. The Stoics believed that our well-being does not depend on external events, but on how we interpret and react to them. For instance, losing a job might initially seem like a disaster, but over time you may realize it was a blessing in disguise, leading to personal growth or even a better opportunity. To put this into practice, start by asking yourself, can I control this? If the answer is yes, then take action. If the answer is no, it's an opportunity to practice acceptance and adaptability. Understanding this principle frees us from unnecessary distress and helps us approach life with calmness. We may not be able to control the winds, but we can always adjust our sails. In a chaotic world, the dichotomy of control provides clarity, helping us focus our energy where it truly matters. The second lesson is about the power of reflection before reacting. In today's fast-paced digital world, where immediacy is often celebrated, the art of reflection may seem outdated. However, this act of pausing and contemplating becomes our anchor in a world that demands quick answers. Consider the many decisions we face every day, from choosing a meal to planning a career. When you receive a message that stirs your emotions, perhaps a colleague questioning your work or a casual comment from a friend, your instinctive reaction might be defensive or angry. But what if instead of diving into a hasty response, you took a step back and allowed yourself a moment of detachment? This is not about suppressing emotions, but rather about giving them space to be understood. Reflection is an active engagement with our thoughts and feelings, where we ask probing questions. Why did this happen? Why does it affect me so deeply? What beliefs or past experiences are influencing my emotions? Is my immediate reaction rooted in the present situation, or is it shaped by past baggage? Reflection also promotes empathy, helping us consider other perspectives. Perhaps that colleague had a stressful day, or maybe the friend didn't realize the weight of their words. In relationships, this practice is vital. How many misunderstandings could be avoided if we took the time to reflect before reacting? How many bridges could be built through thoughtful reflection? Taking a moment to reflect offers clarity, compassion, and deeper connection. In professional environments, the ability to pause and ponder is an invaluable trait in leaders. Those who reflect before making decisions are often more respected and effective, seen as thoughtful individuals whose choices stem from careful consideration. In a world constantly in motion and accelerating, the act of reflection is a quiet yet powerful form of resistance, a declaration that we will not be swept away by the currents of immediacy. It's a commitment to our well-being, the quality of our interactions, and the deepening of our wisdom. The third lesson is about cultivating detachment. In a world filled with emotional turbulence, practicing detachment is essential. This doesn't mean suppressing our emotions, but rather developing a balanced perspective that allows us to observe events, situations, and emotions without being overwhelmed by them. Detachment offers a sense of peace in a world overloaded with information, helping us navigate relationships and conflicts with greater clarity. Imagine watching an exciting movie. You're deeply involved, feeling every moment. But now, imagine you step back and watch the movie as an observer, understanding the plot and characters without being consumed by the emotions of the story. Practicing detachment is similar. It allows us to remain calm and composed, seeing situations for what they are without being carried away by the emotional currents they stir. When you're watching an exciting movie, you might feel a surge of emotions, excitement, sadness, and tension. Yet, even though you're deeply involved in the story, you always remember that it's just a film. There's no need to act impulsively or intervene in what's unfolding on screen. This is a perfect analogy for practicing emotional detachment. It's about engaging fully with life and feeling your emotions deeply, but also knowing when to remain seated in the theater of your mind, observing the drama without losing yourself in it. In a world that constantly bombards us with information and emotions, reacting passionately to every bit of news or event would leave us exhausted and overwhelmed. Emotional detachment acts as a protective buffer, allowing us to interact with the world in a way that's sustainable. This practice is also essential in relationships. Whether in a heated conversation or disagreement, practicing detachment can be the deciding factor between a productive discussion and a harmful argument. It helps us listen more effectively and respond with calm understanding and grace rather than being swept up by our emotions. Cultivating detachment begins with developing self-awareness. Regularly check in with yourself to recognize emotional triggers and understand the patterns that drive your reactions. By creating a space between stimulus and response, we gain the freedom to choose how we react. Instead of acting on impulse, we can respond with intention. Detachment allows us to embrace life's joys and pleasures without becoming overly attached to outcomes. It enables us to fully immerse ourselves in the journey, savoring each moment without the constant fear of losing what we have or experiencing change. In a world that's always shifting, detachment serves as a compass, guiding us with grace through life's unpredictable terrain. By embracing this practice, we can enrich our lives, bringing calm and clarity not only to ourselves, but to those around us as well. There's a powerful question we can ask ourselves in the midst of any challenge or frustration. Will this matter in 5 years? Life often throws moments at us that test our patience, resilience, and perspective. Whether it's a minor inconvenience, like a delayed train, or something more significant, like a missed opportunity or a heated argument. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to get overwhelmed by our emotions. However, by asking whether the issue will still matter in 5 years, we can shift our perspective. This question acts as a mental time machine, allowing us to look back from the future and see the present situation in a different light. Most of the concerns we have today will, in the long run, become insignificant. If we look back at the worries we had 5 years ago, we might find that many of them no longer matter, obscured by new experiences, learnings, and memories. This realization is both humbling and liberating, as it helps us prioritize what truly matters. By distinguishing between short-term setbacks and long-term consequences, We can focus on the things that will have lasting impact. This approach reduces anxiety and encourages us to develop strategies for overcoming challenges, knowing that many solutions become clearer with time and perspective. This mindset also helps us stay focused on what's important: our relationships, personal growth, and meaningful experiences. The ability to consider the long-term implications of our actions and decisions encourages us to invest in what truly stands the test of time. Another valuable practice is keeping a Stoic diary. Journaling has been cherished in many cultures throughout history, not just as a record of events, but as a powerful tool for personal growth, introspection, and clarity. Stoics, with their emphasis on self-awareness and improvement, recognized the benefits of journaling and used it to reflect on their thoughts, emotions, and actions. A Stoic diary isn't simply a log of daily events. It's a space for self-dialogue, a place to dissect our emotions, decisions, and reactions. Imagine ending your day by not just recording what happened, but also reflecting on how you responded to certain situations, what upset you, what brought you joy, and why. Through this practice, you begin to understand the underlying motivations and values that shape your behavior. It's an opportunity to examine the triggers that influence your emotions and to recognize how your actions align with your personal values. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, kept a journal now known as Meditations. For him, it wasn't meant for publication. It was a private dialogue with himself, a space to reflect on his life and guide his actions. His writings reveal a man grappling with the responsibilities of leadership, his emotions, and his place in the cosmos. You don't need to be an emperor to benefit from such a practice. In our modern lives, filled with distractions and an endless stream of information, taking time for introspection is even more essential. A daily check-in with yourself can provide the clarity and focus needed to navigate the complexities of life. By dedicating time to self-reflection, we can enhance our understanding of ourselves and the world around us, making intentional decisions and fostering personal growth. A daily check-in becomes a grounding ritual, providing clarity amidst the chaos of life. Over time, this practice can lead to profound insights. You may begin to notice that certain situations consistently cause stress, prompting you to either confront them directly or change your perspective on them. You might discover that practices such as gratitude or mindfulness elevate your mood and overall outlook. The patterns that emerge from these reflections serve as a roadmap for personal growth and development. Beyond offering insights, keeping a Stoic journal fosters a sense of responsibility. By committing to daily reflection, we hold ourselves accountable for our reactions and decisions. It becomes more difficult to overlook repeated mistakes or rash judgments. Instead, this process encourages us to learn, adapt, and grow from our experiences. The next lesson encourages us to view obstacles not as burdens, but as opportunities. Challenges are an inherent part of the human experience, ranging from personal setbacks to global issues. The Stoics held a powerful perspective on adversity, believing that while we cannot always control the events that affect us, we can control how we interpret and respond to them. This shift in perspective transforms challenges from mere setbacks into valuable lessons. Each obstacle, no matter how daunting, presents an opportunity for growth if we choose to see it that way. Think of a river encountering a stone in its path. Instead of halting its flow, the river finds a way around the stone, either by eroding it over time or carving a new path through it. In the same way, Obstacles in our lives can redirect our paths, often leading us to unexpected and rewarding outcomes. For example, losing a job may initially seem devastating, but it can open doors to a new career, the chance to develop new skills, or even the opportunity to start a business. Similarly, the end of a relationship can pave the way for personal growth, self-discovery, and the possibility of deeper, more meaningful connections in the future. This Stoic perspective also encourages resilience. When we begin to see challenges as opportunities, we become more adaptable and more willing to face adversity head-on. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we begin to ask, "What can I learn from this?" and "How can this situation help shape me for the better?" Of course, this does not mean we should seek out difficulties or dismiss genuine hardships. Instead, it is about recognizing that within every challenge lies a potential seed of opportunity, which, when nurtured with a positive outlook, patience, and perseverance, can transform obstacles into stepping stones on our journey toward wisdom and growth. Another crucial lesson is to cultivate gratitude. In the rich tapestry of human emotions and life experiences, gratitude shines like a golden thread, weaving through moments of joy, contentment, and perspective. The Stoics recognized that gratitude is not a mere spontaneous feeling, but rather a deliberate practice, one that anchors us in the present and helps us appreciate the blessings of life. For the Stoics, gratitude was more than just saying thank you. It was about deeply acknowledging the myriad forces, moments, and people that enrich our lives. It involves recognizing the beauty in the world, the lessons that challenges bring, and the fleeting nature of each experience, which makes everything more precious. Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher, once said that true happiness lies in enjoying the present moment without anxiety about the future. This encapsulates the essence of gratitude, rooted in the present, valuing each moment, every experience, and every interaction. Consider the simple pleasures we often take for granted: the sound of laughter shared with loved ones, the warmth of a hug, or even the act of breathing, which sustains us. These moments, when fully appreciated, bring more beauty and meaning into our lives. Gratitude also counters our human tendency to focus on what is lacking: unfulfilled desires, uncertainties about the future, or dissatisfaction with the present. By shifting our focus to what we already have rather than what we lack, we cultivate contentment, which in turn reduces feelings of envy and resentment. Over time, this practice can significantly improve our overall well-being. A simple way to begin cultivating gratitude is by listing 3 things each day that you are grateful for or looking forward to. This practice, done consistently, can gradually transform your perspective, making you more receptive to the blessings life offers and less resentful of its challenges. Gratitude also strengthens relationships. By expressing appreciation for the acts of kindness, support, and love we receive from others, we foster deeper connections. This creates a positive feedback loop of kindness and affection, enhancing mutual respect and promoting stronger bonds. In a world that often emphasizes the accumulation of possessions, achievements, and desires, gratitude is a reminder to focus on the richness of what we already have. It encourages us to cherish the present moment, appreciate the beauty around us, and recognize the inherent value in each experience. This practice not only nourishes our own well-being, but also nurtures the relationships that bring meaning to our lives. Gratitude serves as a gentle reminder of the abundance that already surrounds us in our lives. It calls us to celebrate the present moment, to embrace life with open arms, and to walk through our journey with a heart filled with thankfulness. I sincerely hope that these Stoic lessons have been both enlightening and valuable to you. If you've made it this far, please leave a comment with the word gratitude so I can know you've reached the end of this video. As always, I truly appreciate you for watching until the very end, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Top of form, bottom of form. Imagine learning to master the art of controlling your mind, a pursuit that traces its roots back to Stoic philosophy, a school of thought that flourished in ancient Greece and Rome. This age-old philosophy holds that by gaining control over our thoughts, emotions, and reactions, we can tap into a profound sense of inner peace and independent virtue, unaffected by the external circumstances of our lives. In this video, we will explore the Stoic principles that guide us toward achieving this internal mastery, empowering us to lead lives that are not only more fulfilling, but also balanced and meaningful. Understanding and applying these principles can help us reach a state of serenity that enables us to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and wisdom. If this is your first time on my channel, I'd appreciate it if you could support me by subscribing and liking the video so I can continue creating more content like this in the future. The first Stoic principle we'll explore is the pursuit of inner peace, independent of external circumstances. The Stoics believe that true happiness and tranquility should not be contingent on what happens around us. Instead, they advocate for finding peace within ourselves, regardless of the fluctuations in the outside world. This means that no matter what occurs in our external environment, we can maintain composure and accept the impermanence of life. This quest for tranquility requires an acceptance of impermanence. The Stoics understood that everything in life is temporary, and holding on to things or situations that are inherently fleeting will only lead to suffering. By embracing the impermanent nature of life, they found a peace that remains undisturbed by changes. One of the key elements in the search for tranquility is the ability to face adversity with equanimity. The Stoics saw difficulties as opportunities for growth, development, and strengthening the mind's capacity for detachment. They believed that rather than being defeated by challenges, we should embrace them as means to cultivate resilience. Achieving inner tranquility is also linked to detachment from disturbing emotions such as anger, fear, and despair. The Stoics teach us to acknowledge these emotions, but not let them control our actions or decisions. By living in accordance with virtue, we create a clear conscience that shields us from feelings of guilt, regret, or remorse. For the Stoics, the true source of tranquility lies in acting with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These virtues help ensure that we are not overwhelmed by negative emotions or the demands of the external world. The Stoics also emphasize the idea of contentment with sufficiency. They argue that the relentless pursuit of wealth, power, or pleasure often leads to dissatisfaction. Instead, they promote the importance of finding contentment in what is enough, steering clear of excessive desires and material attachments. Serenity, in this context, is not a distant ideal, but one that can be gradually cultivated through self-control, self-discipline, and the continuous practice of Stoic principles that foster inner freedom. The search for tranquility is, at its core, a search for inner freedom. When we are no longer slaves to our emotions, desires, or external circumstances, we experience a freedom that allows us to live in alignment with our values and principles. In summary, the pursuit of inner tranquility is a central pillar of Stoic philosophy. It involves independence from external circumstances, acceptance of life's impermanence, detachment from disturbing emotions, and an ongoing quest for virtue. This journey leads to a life that is serene, ethical, and meaningful, where inner peace is not found in external things, but within ourselves. Let's now delve into the second Stoic principle, which revolves around the acceptance of what we cannot control. This principle is foundational for mastering the mind and living a more calm and wise life. The Stoics emphasize the importance of recognizing that many events and circumstances in life are beyond our direct control. This includes the actions of others, natural events, the past, and even the future. The key to Stoic serenity is fully embracing this reality and directing our efforts toward what we can control, primarily our own thoughts, emotions, and actions. Understanding the Stoic scope of control encourages us to draw a clear distinction between what lies within our control and what lies beyond it. This distinction helps prevent unnecessary frustration by reminding us that certain things, like the behavior of others or past events, cannot be changed. By detaching from unrealistic expectations, we can avoid suffering. The Stoics advise us to let go of excessive expectations and accept reality as it is. This doesn't mean we should become indifferent, but instead adjust our expectations to align with what is possible and reasonable. Embracing adversity is another vital aspect of Stoic wisdom. The Stoics teach that adversity is an inevitable part of life, and rather than resisting it, we should accept it with resilience and courage. By seeing challenges as opportunities to grow, we develop the fortitude to face difficulties with serenity. The Stoics remind us that while we cannot control external events, we can always choose how we respond to them. The ability to select virtuous responses, such as patience, compassion, and wisdom, is one of the greatest gifts life offers. Furthermore, the Stoics advise us to detach from both the past and the future. Worrying about what has already happened or what is yet to come only prevents us from fully engaging with the present. The Stoics remind us that the past cannot be changed and the future is uncertain, so it's wise to focus our attention on the here and now, where we have the power to make choices. This acceptance of what we cannot control, combined with the constant pursuit of virtue and self-transformation, leads to inner peace and wisdom. Finally, Stoicism allows us to confront the uncertainties and challenges of life with greater balance and resilience, helping us live in alignment with the Stoic principles of a virtuous and significant life. The third Stoic principle focuses on the practice of virtue as the highest good. The Stoics identified 4 cardinal virtues that serve as foundational principles for living virtuously. These virtues are wisdom, Sophia, courage, Andrea, justice, Dikaiosine, and temperance, Sophrosine, each of which plays an essential role in the search for a virtuous life. Wisdom, or Sophia, is the pursuit of knowledge and understanding of the world and human nature. This virtue involves seeking the truth, developing self-awareness, and cultivating the ability to discern what is truly valuable in life. Wisdom guides us in making decisions that align with reason and the greater good, enabling us to live in harmony with the world around us. Courage, or Andrea, is the virtue that empowers us to face fear and act justly, even in the midst of danger or adversity. The Stoics believed that courage was intimately linked to wisdom, as it requires discernment to confront dangers in a manner that aligns with virtue. Courage enables us to persist in the face of challenges, knowing that acting rightly is more important than avoiding discomfort. Justice, or dikaiosune, involves acting with fairness, impartiality, and respect for the rights of others. The Stoics viewed justice as a fundamental aspect of living virtuously and maintaining social harmony. It calls for an unwavering commitment to equality and respect for all people, ensuring that we contribute positively to the community and the world around us. Temperance, or sophrosine, is the control of desires and appetites, avoiding excess and indulgence. This virtue also extends to the regulation of emotions, allowing us to maintain inner peace and serenity in all situations. Temperance teaches us to exercise moderation and balance, ensuring that our passions and actions do not overwhelm us or lead us astray. The Stoics believed that the practice of virtue is a lifelong journey, one that requires continuous effort and self-reflection. No one is completely virtuous, but everyone has the capacity to improve these virtues throughout their life. Virtue, according to the Stoics, is the true source of happiness. By living according to these principles, we can find a profound sense of fulfillment and meaning, regardless of external circumstances. The practice of virtue also leads to self-sufficiency, both emotionally and spiritually. When we live virtuously, we no longer depend on external things like wealth, status, or approval to find joy and satisfaction. Instead, our happiness becomes self-contained, rooted in our inner character and ability to act in accordance with our values. Self-control and self-transformation are essential aspects of the Stoic path. The search for virtue requires us to recognize and learn from our imperfections and mistakes. By working constantly to improve ourselves, we can become better human beings, steadily progressing toward a life of greater meaning and significance. In essence, the practice of virtue is at the heart of Stoic philosophy, guiding us toward wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These virtues are not abstract ideals, but practical principles that can be applied daily to lead a life of ethical integrity and inner serenity, regardless of the external challenges we may face. The fourth Stoic principle focuses on the control of emotions, which is crucial for achieving serenity and virtue. According to Stoic teachings, emotions can be powerful and often lead us to act impulsively or irrationally. Therefore, mastering our emotions is essential for living a life aligned with virtue and wisdom. The first step in mastering our emotions is cultivating emotional self-awareness. This involves the ability to identify and understand our emotions as they arise. By recognizing when we are experiencing emotions such as anger, fear, sadness, or even euphoria, we can begin to assess them more objectively and avoid being overwhelmed by them. Once we recognize an emotion, the Stoics recommend creating emotional distance. Instead of allowing ourselves to be completely consumed by the emotion, we should take a step back and examine the situation more calmly and logically. This helps us respond with reason rather than reacting impulsively. Reason, the Stoics argue, should always prevail over emotion. Using rational thinking, we can evaluate whether an emotion, such as anger, is justified and whether acting on it is the appropriate response in a given situation. By doing so, we can ensure that our actions are guided by wisdom rather than driven by fleeting emotions. After evaluating our emotions, we must choose a response that aligns with virtuous principles. For example, instead of reacting impulsively with anger, we can choose to respond with calmness and understanding. This requires self-control and the ongoing practice of transforming negative emotions into constructive actions. For instance, instead of allowing fear to paralyze us, we can use it as motivation to take sensible precautions. The ultimate goal of emotional mastery is emotional equanimity, a state in which our emotions do not dominate us or cloud our judgment. This does not mean eliminating emotions altogether, but rather controlling them in such a way that they do not negatively influence our decisions and actions. We learn to navigate our emotions wisely, ensuring they remain in balance with our rational thinking. It is important to understand that the Stoics do not advocate for the complete suppression of emotions. Rather, they emphasize the wise and virtuous management of emotions. They recognize that emotions such as grief in response to loss or joy in celebration of success are natural aspects of the human experience. Mastering emotions is a continuous and challenging process, yet it is crucial for living a serene and ethical life. The Stoics believe that by controlling our emotions and choosing virtuous responses, we can live according to principles such as wisdom, justice, and courage, regardless of external circumstances. This allows us to achieve an inner state of peace, which is highly valued in Stoic philosophy. The fifth Stoic principle, which focuses on living in the present, is essential for mastering the mind and leading a more meaningful life. This principle encourages us to concentrate on the present moment, avoiding excessive rumination on the past or anxiety about the future. The Stoics teach that dwelling on past regrets is useless because we cannot change what has already happened. Instead of getting lost in remorse, we should learn from our mistakes and past experiences. This mindset frees us from the burden of the past and allows us to direct our efforts toward the present. Excessive worry about the future is another source of suffering. While it is wise to plan and prepare for the future, the Stoics acknowledge the inherent uncertainty of life and encourage us not to let anxiety about the future dominate our thoughts and actions. The Stoics urge us to appreciate the present moment because it is the only moment we truly have. They encourage us to fully embrace the present, enjoy the little things, and recognize the beauty of the world around us. This approach not only provides us with a sense of satisfaction, but also helps cultivate an attitude of gratitude. Focusing on the present also means dedicating ourselves entirely to the tasks at hand. This involves avoiding distractions and refraining from multitasking. By concentrating on the present, we can perform our activities more effectively and with greater appreciation for the moment. In Stoic philosophy, the present is the only time over which we have real control. By directing our attention to the present, we can channel our efforts into making wise, ethical decisions without constantly worrying about what is beyond our control, like the future. Practices like meditation and mindfulness are useful tools to help us focus on the present. These practices train our minds to remain present, reducing mental agitation and promoting tranquility. Living more in the present allows us to experience less suffering caused by worries about the past or future. Not only does this improve our quality of life, but it also enables us to make more informed and ethical decisions. In summary, the Stoic principle of focusing on the present teaches us to value the current moment, accept the impermanence of life, and find control and satisfaction in the here and now. This does not mean ignoring the past or neglecting to plan for the future, but rather living fully and meaningfully in the present, the only moment we have control over. By doing so, we contribute to a calm mind and a more significant life. The sixth Stoic principle challenges our relationship with the external world and sensory experiences. It encourages us to find a state of equanimity with regard to these experiences. The Stoics argue that the relentless pursuit of pleasure and the fear of pain are significant sources of human suffering. To achieve serenity and virtue, it is essential to adopt an attitude of healthy indifference toward these experiences. Stoics do not advocate for the complete renunciation of pleasures, but rather for moderation and prudence. They remind us that the unrestrained pursuit of pleasure often leads to harmful excesses, while seeking moderation helps us avoid the suffering caused by such extremes. Similarly, the Stoics encourage us to develop courage and resilience to face pain and adversity with calmness and bravery. Rather than fearing pain, we should view it as an opportunity to grow and strengthen our minds. Stoic philosophy embraces the principle of indifference toward many external factors, meaning that things like wealth, social status, or material success are irrelevant to our virtue and happiness. This does not suggest that we should not enjoy the good things life has to offer, but rather that we should not base our happiness solely on these things, as they lie outside of our control. The Stoics advocate for emotional detachment, aiming to develop a healthy response to external circumstances. This means we should not allow ourselves to be controlled by our emotions in reaction to material gains or losses. Instead, we must cultivate inner peace that remains constant, regardless of the changes happening outside us. For the Stoics, the true source of contentment and happiness lies in the pursuit and practice of virtue. By prioritizing wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance in our lives, we can find a form of pleasure that is more lasting and meaningful than the fleeting pleasures of the senses. The practice of self-control is essential in this pursuit. The Stoics' indifference to pleasure and pain requires a high level of self-discipline. It involves not becoming a slave to our desires or allowing ourselves to be dominated by the fear of pain. By developing this self-control, we can make more rational and ethical decisions. In summary, the practice of indifference to both pleasures and pains is an essential component of Stoic philosophy. It teaches us to strike a healthy balance with sensory experiences and external factors. By doing so, we can avoid the excesses that often lead to suffering and instead find deeper contentment in the pursuit of virtue and self-transformation. This principle helps us live a more balanced and serene life. Now, let's explore the seventh and final Stoic principle: self-knowledge. Self-awareness is the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, as well as many other philosophical and spiritual traditions. For the Stoics, understanding oneself is the crucial first step in mastering the mind and ultimately life itself. The Stoics encourage us to constantly examine ourselves. This means observing our thoughts, emotions, and actions objectively, as if looking in a mental mirror, recognizing our virtues, flaws, and tendencies. A key aspect of this self-assessment is identifying our desires and aversions. Often, we are dominated by irrational desires or unfounded fears that cause suffering. By identifying these, we can begin to question their validity and work toward controlling them. The Stoics also urge us to reflect on our values and the principles that truly matter to us. What do we seek in life? This type of reflection helps align our actions with our core values, promoting greater self-acceptance and constructive self-criticism. Self-knowledge also involves the ability to accept ourselves as we are, with all our imperfections. However, this acceptance does not mean complacency. It means acknowledging the areas in which we can improve and grow. The Stoics warn against self-deception, which is the tendency to justify our actions and rationalize harmful behaviors. Through self-knowledge, we can recognize when we fall into this trap. Self-knowledge is not an end in itself, but a means to achieve continuous self-improvement. By understanding ourselves better, we can work on cultivating a more stoic mindset, developing virtues such as courage, temperance, wisdom, and justice. In short, self-knowledge is the foundation upon which Stoic philosophy is built. It helps us discern what is in our control and what is not, recognize our desires and aversions, and shape our minds according to virtuous principles. It is a journey of self-discovery that empowers us not to be prisoners of our emotions and thoughts, making us more resilient and wise in the face of life's challenges. As we explore the principles of Stoic philosophy, we find a roadmap for mastering our minds and, consequently, our lives. From self-knowledge to the pursuit of virtue as the highest good, these teachings enable us to navigate the turbulent waters of existence with wisdom, resilience, and ethical integrity. Stoic philosophy teaches us that true wealth lies in inner peace, self-transformation, and the constant search for virtue, especially in a world filled with challenges and uncertainties. It offers us a guiding light toward a more balanced and meaningful life, reminding us that despite external circumstances, we have the power to shape our minds and choices. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and comment so that YouTube knows this content helps people like you, allowing us to continue creating similar videos in the future.